In the ocean, we were one animal called, in root language, we call all. In English, we call it eel. An eel is this water snake, like one eel. And from an eel came an eel came an eel over millions of years, until one day the eel wanted to come onto the land. And we came on the land as the frog. And from a frog came a frog came a frog over many millions of years, until one day this frog evolves into one monkey. One moon key, the key to the moon. And today I will explain this key to the moon. In root language, we call this monkey, we call him Appa. In the Bond language, we call him Apina. In the English, we call him ape. The story is told in 3 languages. Root is one language they still speak in southern Finland today. The Bond language is the Finnish language itself. And English is a combination of root and Bond. English does not come from Latin or Greek. So this story says our first papa was one Appa, one ape. This planet today has not always been the way that it is. Today, this ball is one mother ball, and in the middle is one pole. We can call it North Pole, South Pole. And today, we have many names for this pole. We call it one pole. We call it one axe, or one axle. But we also call it one E. And one E is one pole with a dot. We call it IE in English, but E is a pole with a dot. So this pole in the middle we call E, and the dot above it is the North Star, the pole star. A long, long time ago, this pole was sitting straight up and down. We weren't tilted over like we are today. And this story comes from a time when the planet was sitting straight up and down. What we call the paradise, or the paradise time. And in these days, there was no ice on the planet. The whole planet was banana, papaya, coconut. And when the planet was sitting like this, we were going around Ood in the sun like this. We were in harmony with the moon. At the top of the planet, the sun never went over like it does. If you were standing on the top of the planet, the sun made one golden ring around and around. If you left from the top to the equator, you get longer nights. But at the very top and the very bottom of the planet, you could stand there and watch the sun make a 24-hour golden ring around and around. And there was one ring of land at the very top of the planet, 250 kilometers in diameter, 125-kilometer radius. At the very top of the pole, one ring of land with the sun going around it. It was the most beautiful place in the history of the ball. And this ring of land had many names. One name we call it was called Asgard, because the people who lived there were called the Asar people. We also call it Uudenmaa. And today, if you go to Helsinki, Finland, you can ask anybody in Helsinki, where is Uudenmaa? And they'll say, you're standing in Uudenmaa. And Uden is the sun, Uden is the ring, and Ma is the earth itself. So it was the sun land, or the ring land, Uudenmaa. They also call it Midgard. Mid meaning middle, and Gard meaning garden, Midgard. But this ring land was also called hell, but hell was in negative. The church made hell to be negative. In our story, in the root language, hell means complete or clear. In German, hell means light. So this story comes from hell. Today it's called Helsinki. You can sing for the key to hell. In our sound system, if you want to find the distance around one ring, in English we say pi. you must find this pi. But in Europe, they say P. So the association of the sound P means one ring. And hell was one P. It was one ring of land at the top of the pole. The P. The axle of the planet was called the pole. The P and the pole, the people come from the people. This is a story about us, the people, and where we come from. We came from the top of this pole, from this P of land, with this O going around and around. We are the pole, the people. So this is a story about the people. If you put the pole into the P and that little dot comes out, you make one more people on the planet. If we go to this island more than 100 million years ago, there was a one-time happening. In the nature, animals do not crossbreed. The elephant doesn't go with the giraffe. The alligator doesn't go with the duck. But the sun made one special creation. It had created one planet full of animals, full of nature. It was perfect. But the sun wanted something very special, a special soul, a special being to take care of this planet. And on this island, at the top of the planet, at the top of the E, or the top of the pole, still today, in the granite is one hole. In the very top of this E, on one island, 3 kilometers in front of Helsinki, Finland, there is one hole in the top of the E. And this is where the word holy comes from. So this story is about the Holy Land. Because the land around the E, the land where the hole is, hell was the Holy Land. In root language they call it Helig. There was a one-time happening. It said that one monkey, one appa, he met with one female goat, one what we call nannyvorhi, or one nanny goat. And in the animals, they do not have what we call sperm or sperma. We call it sperma in this story. The animals have something called embla. The monkey has embla, the dog has embla, the fish have embla, the frog has embla. Only the human being has something called sperma. And I'll explain this now. In this appa, in this ape, in his balls, he had something called embla. And he put his pili into the nanny goat's pilu. And pilu means the sexual organ for the female in Finnish language, in Bond language. The monkey put the pili into the nanny goat's pilu, and out came the first 2 people on the planet. So this story says we are a combination of a monkey, one ape, and one goat. It's called the Bach Saga. It's the story of the goat. So the missing link is the goat, according to our story. And from this combination of these 2 animals come the first woman and the first man on this planet. The first woman, she is called Freya. And the first masculine, he is called Frey. And Freya is where our word Freysdag or Friday comes from. And this Frey, he would be the first good. The word God comes from the word good. And Freya, she would be the first goddess, what we call the Gudina. Godfrey. We have one English name called Godfrey. The Good Frey, the Good Friday, the Good Frey. So this first man, he will be the good. This first Freya, she will be the first P, and this first masculine, he will be the first pole. And from his pole and her P will come all people on the planet.